Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Buckeye Weekly Podcast. I'm Tony Gerdeman here, as always, with Tom Orr. Tom, how's it going?
Tony, it is a sure sign that the season is getting close. We got the email from Ohio State with here's the themes for the games and all that kind of stuff. What is a little unusual is there is some like real actual news in this year's announcement.
Yeah, the biggest news from this year's announcement is that Senior Day is moving from the final home game of the year to the first home game of the year, which this year is September 5th against Ball State. So instead of every other year, the seniors getting to walk out on Senior Day with the stakes of the Michigan game. That was one of the traditions of every home Michigan game is also Senior Day, and that was you'd have players counting, making sure I'll graduate on senior, or I'll have Senior Day against Michigan. I'm looking forward to that. That at least for this year, and probably for a while. Although maybe Tom, do you think it's just the years where the Michigan game is at home that they move Senior Day up front? I That would be a little bit, on the too on the nose or too blatant, but yes, Senior Day moving out of the customary last home game to the uncustomary first home game.
Well, I think you have hit the nail right on the head as to the likely reasoning behind this. We'll get a chance to talk to Ryan Day after practice on Saturday, and we'll probably get a chance to ask him about the actual thinking behind this. My guess is that this is sort of a just in the way that senior tackle has sort of gone away from Michigan week. I have a feeling this is probably about keeping Michigan week as close to normal as every other game and not having extra stuff in there. They do the Tunnel of Pride thing where you have former lettermen, former Ohio State football players sort of lining the field as the team runs on. I would guess that they're probably still going to do that. That would probably take a lot of people off if they took that one away. This is going to be a different way to do senior day. Normally it's the emotional final time. This year it's kind of like, well, just a reminder, you don't get to come back after this, but you also are going to have, that was always sort of interesting because you would see who walks, who doesn't walk, and that, that you
Mhm.
can sort of read into that in terms of who might be coming back or might not. That obviously you don't have nearly as much information to make that decision on September 5th as you do on November 28th or 29th. So that will be a little different. But, you know, with as much as they have done to have Michigan week be as similar to other weeks as they can, this feels like that's just kind of this is sort of fitting into that as well.
What you're saying, Tom, is Bryce Underwood was right. It's just you're trying to treat that game like it's another game. I I wonder how much of it is, and it's absolutely the Michigan thing, but also remember seeing John Simon. I remember seeing him on Senior Day. He could barely walk. He wasn't going to be able to play against Michigan, and he was out there hobbling. We've seen other guys, Seth McLaughlin on crutches. So I do wonder, like, there's a little bit that just allows all of the players to take part that way, but then you can just get it over with and get done with it because it is a very emotional time. And you've heard so many stories of that day where it's hard for players to get locked in until sometime in the first quarter, when there's so many emotions going on and families there and all of that. This isn't an unprecedented thing. I was at a high school game a few years ago. I don't even remember when because I had it just dawned on me like as I'm reading this, like I've seen this before. And it was some high school game. I forget where I was, but they had Senior Day on the opening day, on the home opener. And then I don't recommend going to like Chat GPT or these LLMs looking for research generally in the sports world. But I did do that to see like, hey, give me some examples. And so I can give you a couple of time. Everybody remembers Wabash in 2016. They did it against their game in their opener against Allegheny. Everybody remembers that from 10 years ago. Duquesne did it in 2024 everybody remembers against West Virginia Wesleyan and Wisconsin Platteville in 2025. Some other semi examples. Jimbo Fisher moved senior day up 1 week to UAB and got it away from LSU in like 2018. Will Muschamp did the same thing at South Carolina. Was he at South Carolina 10 years ago to get it off of Clemson? So like there are examples out there, and even I think Adam King from 10 TV's Adam King tweeted out that that it's not unusual, and it's like, well, it's it's not usual, to say the least.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not usual. It's a little unusual. It's not unprecedented, but it is a little unusual. It's interesting that Duquesne did that because Ty Howard, the linebacker for Ohio State, walk-on linebacker, half brother of Bo Jackson, he was actually at Duquesne in 2024. So we could actually ask Ty Howard in the if we do get Ty Howard made available to us at some point, ask him about the doing it for the opening game of the year. And this is not a completely unprecedented thing. I mean, that you will have high school sports teams who will sometimes do their senior day on a day when you're going to win. You pick what it's sort of the way you used to schedule homecoming, where it's just, well, okay, you've got 1980s Northwestern coming to town, and so they're going to be the homecoming opponent for about 5 Big Ten teams. This would not be an unprecedented thing by any means, but I went back and looked at last year's Michigan schedule, media schedule, because typically it is Michigan on Monday, Ohio State on Tuesday, and that's it. And we last year, I thought I remember this right, we did get a chance to talk to Ryan Day after practice on Wednesday, which is the night we typically get a chance to talk to Ryan Day after practice. So they are keeping things, at least last year, they kept things, again, a little closer to the typical Michigan week schedule. I know they do the thing with the band where the band comes in and plays. That was still, I believe, Michigan week last week. That was I think that's like a Wednesday night thing. I think that is something that we'll see if that stays in the normal spot that week. But it feels very much like they are trying to keep the Michigan week pattern, just the rhythm of the week, as similar as they can. And there's still unique Michigan week traditions. They tape up the helmets for the scout team and all that kind of stuff. So it's still, this is not, they're treating it exactly as every other game and it doesn't matter any more or less. It's not anything like that, but it does feel like, just as much as college football coaches talk about just being in the rhythm and just staying, finding the sort of pattern of the season and getting comfortable in that. There's a reason that they do that, and it feels like this is just sort of one more thing that might be falling into that into that pattern.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I'm not upset about it. Like the senior day for the Michigan game is just another thing that is cool about it
Mhm.
for on both sides, and so you're removing that, but it doesn't take away from the game.
Mhm.
So, and frankly, it adds to the Ball State game, which is also Jim Tressel is being honored. His name will be added to the Ring of Honor with Paul Brown and Woody Hayes there. So that's all happening on September 5th against Ball State. The Ohio State has released the rest of the themes to this point. There's still maybe some. They reserve the right on like some days to like what do they say on Fridays they'll announce whether or not it's going to be this jersey or that jersey so that fans can kind of get an idea of how to dress, but they have set up some themes that are known. The helmet stripe game is September 19th. That's Kent State, where every fans are encouraged to wear gray for the contest, and then the student sections will dress appropriately as the helmet stripes, and that's also where the all of the student athletes will be recognized. That's the Scarlet and Gray game, and also the faculty and staff appreciation. September 25th or 26th against Illinois, celebrating the latest class of Buckeye legends. That's a Hall of Fame weekend. So that's always, you'll get everybody there, and sometimes we'll have an opportunity to talk to all of the newest class of Hall of Famers. Homecoming, as you know, is Maryland. Oregon is November 7th. Perhaps we'll see something there with something. Nothing has been announced yet. Military appreciation is November 14th against Northwestern. And of course, as you know, Michigan is November 28th. They've not announced anything in terms of uniforms for that. We know in the past, way back when, there would be some alternate uniforms. They do have the red and the scarlet color rush and the black tunnel vision combinations. Those will be in play this season. Tom, we don't know exactly which games those will be in play for, and that's why the release said that we'll let you know on the Friday before the game if we're going to do one or the other. Who do you think? Where do you think those games are?
I'm going to guess the black uniforms are going to be for the Oregon game. That's we have done the math on that and are expecting that to be a 3:30 kickoff for the Oregon game on CBS, which that late in the season, the sun
Mhm.
sets at about 5:30 or so. So like middle of the second quarter, it is going to be a night game. So I think that's a pretty good guess that that will be the black uniform game. Just a guess, but that's
Mhm.
my guess right now. The red, I don't know how they feel about. I'm going to not use the word blighting the Michigan game, but impacting the Michigan game with alternate uniforms. I we have both discussed the fact that it would be awesome if they did the USC UCLA thing. Does not sound like that is imminent by any means. So it's possible that will be the red color rush uniforms. But yeah, I think there's a very very good chance that it'll be the black jerseys for the Oregon game.
Oregon or Illinois?
Oregon is my guess. Oregon's my
Okay.
guess on the black ones.
Okay. Gotcha.
Illinois is not a bad guess for the all red ones. You're not gonna do that. I don't think for Maryland. I don't think you're gonna do that for Northwestern. I don't think you're gonna do that for Kent State or Ball State. So it feels like that's either gonna be Michigan or Illinois, and we'll see which one they choose.
And talking with people when all of this was announced back when with the new turf, how they would be able to match the end zones with the themes in terms of painting them, and those are some of the plans that they have in place. I was asking somebody, so like on a blackout or the tunnel vision, you could have black end zones, and they're like, well, we'll see. They have the capability, so that's something else to keep in mind with those theme games. But there you go. Remember to wear your appropriate clothing at all times, but also at themed games if you are going. And if you'd like to talk about it, you can find us over at BuckeyeInsiders.com, where we are talking about this fall camp stuff we're hearing behind the scenes, stuff we're seeing. And boy, we're talking about, Ball State's right here, Texas is right here. The season is right upon us. So now is a fantastic time to come and join us at BuckeyeInsiders.com. That will do it from here. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will talk to you all later.